Good morning. Okay, so today is Thursday. It is the first like full week of February, and I am now that I've kind of like taken January and I don't know. I felt like right now I feel a little bit like I floundered in January, and so I know I didn't. I did get some work in there. I started the year off. Getting stuff, but I still have to. I want to grow. So if you guys didn't see, I did a little reel this morning. But I am going to be like real and authentic, and I want to show behind the scenes of things that I've always kind of been scared to show, um, because I have this thought in my head and my subconscious that continues to pop up that if I am not perfect, that it's going to affect who wants to be around me and who wants to be working with me. And if I don't put out this, like, I am perfect, I am finished and polished and everything like that, that it's going to stop the right people from working with me. And this is something that, I go back and forth on it. There's been times in my life when I've been just like totally authentic and not cared what opinions were or thoughts were, and those were the times when I feel like I excelled the most. I had huge growth. I did great things. I was proud, happy, and comfortable with myself, and then I would get back into my head and start worrying again and thinking like, what do people think about me, and that would affect things. So I mean, we can always talk more about what is bringing this sudden rush on of doing things differently and doing things in a way that will let me be who I want to be and have the life that I want to have and have it all. Um, we'll get there and we'll see what happens. And for people who want to see what it's like to build a brand, to build a business behind the scenes, you get to follow along, and the people who don't want to watch won't, and that's cool. That's on them. But the people who want to be there and cheer me on and be supporters and get to be a part of something great, because this is going to be great. I'm going to build an empire. I'm going to get out of my own way. Um, then that's what we're going to do. All right. So this morning, I have a couple things that I got to get done. What I would like to do is I'm gonna make my list. I'm a huge proponent of lists, and that helps me figure out what tasks I have to get done. Um, and then like the things that have to be put in there have to, I set reminders or whatever, so I can figure everything out. And I had ideas of what I was going to do this morning, and then yesterday we took Jimmy in for her annual exam, and we she has a tumor in her mouth, and so the vet called this morning, and they ran tests. So it is cancer, um, and so that kind of rattled me. Kind of took me off track a little bit, so I needed to take like 30 minutes and kind of reset there and figure out that. And so I had to make another pot of coffee because I just that's sad for me. But it also made me realize that I need to do pictures of Jiminy. I need to find the pictures of Jiminy and Cricket from the past 15 years so that I have those. And if I am in that situation, then there are other people who are in that situation. And so I need to make sure that I am serving them as well as that. So I do have some ideas of what I'm going to do to get that going, because I can do pet portraits right now. And so that might be a thing. You might see an event coming up to do something like that. So, but let's find my notebook so that I can make my list of what I have to get done. All right, and then on Tuesday morning, so I didn't do a live on Tuesday morning because I was at the Woman Owned and Operated event, professional development meeting. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm the president of a nonprofit called Women Owned and Operated. Um, it's we are we are now officially in our second year, um, and you guys get listen to me and see the fun. Thank you for calling Michelle Dolan Photography. This is Michelle. How can I help you? This is Michelle. How can I help you? Okay, so it wasn't actually anybody. That's fun. So, but I'm the president of Women Owned and Operated. We are now in our second year. So last year was our first year. My goal was 16 members for our first year. We hit our goal, and so this year I would like to get us to 25 members. Which actually maybe we should be looking at like 32 so we can double, right? Double in size. Um, no, but I said I would like to get to 25 members by May. So that gives me a little bit of time. But what we do is we have professional development meetings every first Tuesday and third Tuesday of the month. One is in the morning, the first Tuesday is in the morning. The third Tuesday is in the evening because we totally get that like people have different schedules. Sometimes you can't make morning meetings, sometimes you can't make evening meetings, but if you have options to do both, you still have a little bit of professional development every month. You also get to do some networking. We have 30 minutes of networking at the beginning of every meeting. So you get to meet new people. And then we do a professional development. So this last one we had a woman named Rosemary. She came in and she actually talked about pop buys, and I love pop buys. I've never called them pop buys, but it was something that I've done. I did it when I was with Mary Kay and working my Mary Kay business. Now I just get Mary Kay for myself. But when I was doing that, like that's where I kind of learned them was like you do like these little gift baggies and you go and you keep a couple in your bag, you keep a couple in your purse, and like when you see somebody, you just like give them a gift. But all you're doing is you're creating awareness, and then doing other things like going into offices and giving women like carnations, like giving them a flower and just like thanking them for being an amazing person or thanking an office for what they did. So doing things like that, doing handwritten notes, I call them notes of joy. One of my mentors taught me that. Doing video calls or even just like sending somebody a message, wishing people happy birthday. Um, all kinds of things. It's fun to hear others, like other people talk about things that I already do and getting a perspective on it of like they call it something different and a couple of different ideas. The other thing though is I didn't realize how far off I had gotten away from doing those things regularly. So I used to do 5 notes every week, and I would go through the newspaper and I'd find the kids who did great things. They had an awesome Eagle Scout project, or maybe a new business did a ribbon cutting, and I'd congratulate them. So I used to write those, and I would take the newspaper clipping and mail that to them so that they had that. And then I would do these little gift bags. I would do a couple a month, and then like December I would like whatever my like big focus was, I would kind of like go find it, right? And I had my dream 100 list, and I would like break that down. And so like I had done you did socked in December, and everyone got like these people got stockings, and it had some tips about brand images that they needed and how they could get them. And it had like I had custom cookies made that had my logo on them. They got a sticker. They got a handwritten note from me. I think they also got a gift certificate to come in and get like a branding session or something like that. Something small, but it was just. Now, of course, that is a larger investment on my part to like do all of that. And they got like a notebook. I believe every year you should start with a notebook and a fresh planner that you can keep in your car to write your mileage down. Um, and so I like had like all of that, a nice pen, and so those are things that I did, and I've gotten away from doing it, which and it was one of those things that kind of helped keep the pipeline filled, and continue to create that awareness, and like people knew who I was, and I have stopped doing that. not because it wasn't working, but because it was I'll do that next week. Oh, I'll put that on my calendar for next week, and then I didn't do it, and then the next week came, and then the next week came, and then eventually I just stopped doing it, and I completely forgot about doing those things. So, and that's something that I want to talk about later. I'm gonna do a video where I just like run through some ideas of what businesses can do, because after that came home, started talking to my husband about it, about what we could do with Red Ferris, and we came up with some ideas. And I was like, you know what, we need to I need to help people. This is something I love planning and talking about, so I need to do that. So that's why I didn't do a long story short. That's why I didn't do anything on Tuesday for doing this. But let's kind of run down like what I have to do um, today to get started and like what I have coming up. So tomorrow I actually have a consultation for a senior. So I need to secure childcare, babysitter for Friday consultation, and I need to confirm my consultation. Um, confirm senior consult. I need to people who have sent me, or people I've booked, I need to make sure that they have their send initial emails. I have, I have a couple that I need to do their initial emails where they get a copy of their contract. They get the next steps and how to prepare. Now, normally with clients, I do book their session date when I schedule them, but because of the season and what some of these sessions were, we don't actually have dates secured. So I have a senior who we don't have a date secured. We know that we're looking at March, and so she's going to be my first priority for March. Um, we don't know what the weather is going to be like. But she also she's ready to photograph during the week. She's able to be photographed during the week, and so that gives her a big opportunity to do a lot more, because weekends get a little crazy for everyone, right? And so she might have a little bit more time in her schedule. Um, I also have a family portrait session, and this is going to be extended family portraits, but they need to get everyone's schedules onto one weekend. And again, they wanted to do it outside on their property, which also means that we need it to not be frigid outside or terribly windy. Now, everyone always does get to. I schedule, if it's an on location session like outdoors, I do schedule their regular session and then a rain date just in case. And their session fee does cover holding both of those dates for them. Um, and then I have a brand session as well, who they want all their employees there. And so I would prefer to do them during the week. That way we are able to get them taken care of and we know that they have everyone. But because of work schedules, that also constitutes something. And something that I'll probably be getting to is certain types of sessions. When they are scheduled on a weekend, there will be an additional fee, but I'm not there yet. But it is something that I will do, and as a six-figure business owner would do, that is what I want to do, right? And so I have to kind of make decisions in that capacity, because that's where I want to be, and that's what all of this is about, is showing you guys the behind the scenes of that, and then the how to prepares, and that's where it's like talking about outfits and like scheduling appointments, hair, nails. If they have to get their puppy groomed, all of that stuff, like that's what that how to prepare is. The other thing is I want to take that and make that into a template of like something that I just automatically can send to people. That'll improve my process and theirs. And then I also want to get all of my contracts digitally. So like obviously everything is digital, but I want to have it automatically in Adobe Sign, where as we go through and they can sign it right there on my iPad. And I know like it's totally possible I can do that instead of having to like log in and send it to Adobe. Like right now I just print out contracts because it's easier, and then we just fill out what we need to fill out and sign it right there, and then I come home and I scan it and I send them a copy, and then I file their paper copy even though I already have their digital copy, which leads to stacks of paper. What you guys don't see is like the little papers all over my desk, and that so there's that. I also have a frame quote that I need to complete and send um, to Molly. And then I had to send out a reminder this morning for another for frame invoice and get them scheduled because um, I I don't know what that is. So I have frame invoice reminder, and then once I receive that payment, I will be able to schedule pickup of their items and start the ordering process for the frame pieces so I can get their frames done. Um, I also have to go drop off a library book, but that's not a work task. So in general, that's where I'm sitting right now, and then um, yeah. So it's been 20 minutes, and I'm sorry, it's been 15 minutes, and so but I did list out kind of some things that I want to get rolling for today, and then I'll be putting things in for the other businesses. So I would love for you guys to keep following along as I get everything done, and I would love to know what your questions are as I work through everything and grow my business to what I want it to be. All right, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.